Okay, well, I can't necessarily say that I put something on campus every single day. It's actually the teacher's art show that really gets me to make art for myself. Otherwise, I have two kids at home, and teaching middle school, I'm usually too busy to do it for myself most of the time. So this is something that encourages me to do it. And so since it's been started and since I've been a teacher in the Coquitlam School District, I've made it a point to always make sure that I get something done for the art show for this. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. I'm starting to learn how to kind of let myself go a little bit more from the students. I've always been really worried about like, okay, I have a canvas, it must be perfect, it must be fabulous. But when I teach my students, especially because they're grades 6, 7, and 8, I'm like, just have fun with it and give it a try and do this and that and don't be so worried. And I've realized that I need to take my own advice with a lot of that. So for instance, we just finished doing collages with magazines in class, and things got rolling to the point where I could sit there and I could make my own collages alongside with them. And it's really fun like that, because not only do I get to see what they're making, but then if I'm making something alongside them, then I'm encouraging them, and then they start encouraging me too, like, oh, Miss Otey, you're cooking there, you got it. Like, so it really has helped me like that. And I think teaching middle school is very different than teaching high school, because that's what I started off with teaching. And in middle school, it's a lot more about freedom. And if you look at like the work that I have here right now, it's incredibly structured because it's all vertical lines and whatnot, which is what I usually am inside, and I'm trying to open up a bit more. Well, in general, when I make my own art at home, it's usually incredibly structured. It's usually abstract as well. And working a lot with design and line designs and whatnot. And that's just kind of like, I have a very type A personality a lot of the times. And so I think that's part of the reason why I'm always looking for things to be so structured. But then I get those little parts where I'm wanting to try and push through with something a little different, but something in there that might not typically be seen. And I think that kind of comes from just, the unexpectedness of life there. So yeah, and it's very very formal for me in a way to those things. Well, it's the beach just north of Long Beach, Washington, on the peninsula, and we go there, or at least used to go there for vacations quite a lot, especially with my kids and my husband and whatnot. And I have almost every time we go, we're walking the same route to the ocean. And I have all these photos of our walk there or our walk at the beach. And so when we go through our photo albums from years and years and years, you see the same kind of views, but from slightly different perspectives, or times of day or weather or whatnot. And so I don't usually do paintings that are something that directly from my life. Like I said, it's usually more abstract. And so this one, I actually had been kind of inspired by my shop tech at SFU way back in like 2000. And he had done a couple of landscapes where he had like a small thin line somewhere in there. And I was like, I really like that idea, because it kind of interrupts what you would normally see. And so when I started doing this painting, it just looked boring just seeing the whole landscape like there. And so I was trying to think what could make it a little more interesting and what could, twist it up a bit. And so that's when doing all the little lines in there came in, because it helped to kind of just fragment it a bit more. It was new to me. Mm-hmm. I've realized since how I could probably do better technically with some of it there. For getting a smoother transition of lines or whatnot, but honestly, I'm kind of okay with a little bit of the messiness here and there, because things have a tendency to spill over. But yeah, it was new in the sense that I had to think about what I had already covered with the tape and where I was uncovering with it, and just kind of thinking of how I gave I had, even though I didn't measure it necessarily, I wanted to give a relatively equal amount of space to each kind of time that I was doing. So it was kind of a lot of stop and start and looking at it like, oh, okay, yeah, nope, I need this here. So yeah. I do like for things to usually remain open for interpretation. But I guess the whole thing that I'd like people to kind of see in the kind of works that I make, even when they're just like the line designs and whatnot, is about how you can find different kind of connections between different things at any time, whether it's shapes or a continuing line or a recurring color or something like that. How while there might be so much fragmentation and so many things different, that there's still some threads that are going to connect it everywhere to still make it a whole. So that's kind of what I'd like to people to get from it.